and welcome to No Such Thing as a Bad Movie podcast. I'm April Advansky, and I'm here today with...
Justin Dynamo DeClue! Oh!
God damn it, should I have come up with a name?
A wrestling name?
How about Colin the Crunch Cunningham?
Colin Crusher Cunningham.
Yeah, I like the Crunch because he loves crunchy bars. Yum, yum! Which is a Canadian-only thing, I think. Crunchy, the chocolate toffee.
Yeah, I think so.
Crunchy bar?
Crunchy, it's like toffee covered in chocolate, and it's a candy bar.
Mm-hmm. It has like a yellow packaging.
I feel like Score was another one like that, wasn't it?
Oof, you're going to get me hungry. Okay, today we're talking about...
It's like 11 a.m.
We're finally talking about...
time.
I'm starving. We're talking about Superfights, a movie that we have mentioned many times before.
Yeah.
And I feel like this movie is definitely not talked about enough.
No.
It unfortunately hasn't really gotten a big home video release other than VHS, and there's a DVD floating around.
It's on YouTube,
though.
You can search Superfights, and it's up there.
Exactly.
So.
Multiple copies.
It's on YouTube, but it's not the greatest version, but it's still watchable.
It's still fine, yeah. It's a DVD rip. The DVD on Amazon is $241. I was telling Justin that. Do not buy that.
The thing where a movie that no one really cares about, so there's not a lot of them, and so it makes it very expensive when you want to buy it. It's very annoying.
Yeah. God, I hope Vinegar Syndrome doesn't...
I know.
All of these
thinking
action
that,
films all have that problem, which is like all these like DTV action films because no one cared about them from the point that they were released.
It was probably just there was too many of them. They were just dumped, you know?
I mean,
It's
Vinegar
just
Syndrome just needs to make a deal with Seasonal Film, which is Insing Jung's company. And
Yes.
if they do, they'll release all of them. So they'll do Blood Moon, they'll do Superfights, because it's all under that banner.
Did they do
those
the
two are
No
great.
Retreat, No Surrenders?
They did, and a different company released No Retreat, No Surrender, so maybe it's complicated. I mean, I think No Retreat, No Surrender 3 is my favorite Blood Brothers of the entire
Oh, that's
Yes.
great, yeah.
I watched that recently. That's also on YouTube. Slightly worse quality than Superfights, but it's still amazing.
But this is the same director, Superfights, of Blood Moon, which Justin, you, and Peter showed at
Yes,
Laser
we've
Blast.
shown both of these movies, Superfights and Blood Moon. Both of them directed by the
Yes.
same Hong Kong guy, Tony Leung, Siu Hung, not to be confused with the Tony Leung who's in the Wong Kar-wai films.
Yeah, the other Tony Leung.
Yeah, I was wondering. I'm like, wow, he's good at everything.
Wow, what a career. Yeah, we showed this one, and you can actually see on IMDb the poster is a poster that we commissioned for Superfights. Somebody
That's
changed
great.
it.
Both this and Blood Moon are fantastic.
Yeah, and a lot of the same guys are in.
Yeah,
but in both of them
This
too.
is such a good movie. It's so entertaining.
I love these action movies of the 90s where there's kind of like a team and you see the same people in all of them, like the Billy Blanks and Gyllenhaal Marie movies. There's like 10 of those, and Cynthia Rothrock's in some of them.
It's like Seth Rogen and his buddies, like
yeah.
the comedy.
Yeah, so this has a lot of the same people, and also the last two, No Retreat, No Surrenders, is like the same characters. So you see the same people popping up in all of these like 90s martial arts movies,
And they're all good.
that have like Hong Kong guys either doing the martial arts or directing.
I
Right,
feel
Justin?
kind of bad for this team only because like The Matrix came out and people were like, oh wow, action has been redefined, and the guy who was making Superfights is like, we've been doing this for a decade.
I know.
Yeah,
It's
we've
so
been
much
here the
more
whole time.
complicated.
So much better too. Oh my god. Like the fights in this movie are fantastic, and it's always like what makes me kind of sit up and take notice is when the first fight happens and you're like, holy wow, these guys know their shit. Like these are really good martial artists.
And it's in a super cheesy movie with some super cheesy acting. Some of the best bad acting you may have. Well, I mean, I don't call it bad. It's cheesy. I think they know what they're doing.
I don't know about that. I mean, the main guy,
maybe.
The main guy,
Brandon Gaines is his name, and I believe he was only cast because he looks like Lauren Avedon, who's is
that?
in a bunch of other seasonal films. He was like a skinny guy, and he was like the go-to when it came to like, oh, we need a guy to be in this like white guy martial arts film. He was very good.
Right.
He's in like The King of Kickboxers. He's the other brother in No Retreat, No Surrender 3.
Yeah,
Blood
okay,
Brothers.
I knew that's who you're talking about.
okay.
Yeah, except this guy is even shorter. I
Yeah.
think.
he looks like such a dork, and
He acts like a dork, and supposedly he was a huge asshole on set, which is why
Really?
this was his first and last feature film role.
Oh, that's
Wow.
funny because he's playing. They say in the movie that he's 20 years old. He is playing this character like he's 12.
Yeah.
And he just ate like a bag of sugar or cocaine.
Yes.
He is like screaming and fist pumping and yeah.
Every performance in this movie is like a weird version of bad where like you can't put your finger on it. Like you listen to the villain of this. What is his name?
Yeah.
It's Keith. He's a famous kickboxer.
Keith Vitale.
And you're like, has he ever spoken English before? Like, is he doing this phonetically?
Weird inflections, but he doesn't have an accent. But
No.
it's just it's very
It almost
bizarre.
sounds like he's trying to do like a Michael Douglas or like some kind of like he's trying to
Like a stylized
this
way
is
of
what
talking?
80s villains talked like.
Hey guys,
dude,
what's
hear
going
me?
on? But he's even a good guy in Blood Brothers, and he sounds every line of dialogue seems to be coming.
Is he the other brother?
Yeah,
in
he's the
Blood
other
Brothers?
brother. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And he's also in Blood Moon
Yes, he is. Who does he
as a
play?
good guy.
In Blood Moon. Yeah, he's one of the
I think
baddies in that too.
Unfortunately, all these
Or
movies
one of the
start
guys that
to
gets
blend
killed
together.
by the Blood
Yeah, it
Moon
says-
serial killer.
Yeah, it said like so and so's friend or whatever.
Did we do an episode
Man,
on Blood Moon?
don't look up Blood Moon because there's like 50 other Blood Moons and you can't find the Gary Daniels one.
Oh, okay.
That happened to
Gary
me today.
Daniels, Fey British man starring in action film. You'll find it, Blood Moon.
In
Yeah.
Blood Moon.
You just get a bunch of werewolf.
I always
movies.
describe Gary Daniels as if Daniel Craig had a younger, pretty boy brother.
Who's like, hey, I can do action too.
I can do action.
Well, I don't want to insult Gary Daniels, who very graciously did an intro for our screening of Blood Moon,
Yeah,
which was
he's-
great. It has to be online. It starts with him like punching a bag, and he's like, "Oh, hello, I'm Gary Daniels."
But he does spend the rest of the conversation like out of breath.
Yes, he does. Listen, kicking that bag, it's not easy, you know.
I mean, he's got to be. I think in every movie, Gary Daniels had to do the kind of splits over the chair.
I mean, he could
the two
do it,
chairs.
so he
It's
does
his
it.
thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, he unfortunately is not in this movie.
No,
No.
yeah. You'll have to tune into our Gary Daniels pod where we weekly
Yeah.
go through all of Gary Daniels' career.
Honestly, we should do that Gary Daniels. Was it called Firepower, where everything
Oh, yeah.
explodes?
Oh,
That
I think my
one was
favorite
really
Gary
good.
Daniels PM Entertainment joint is Rage, where they inject Gary Daniels with a rage virus.
Oh, we saw that.
That might be the one I'm thinking of too.
Firepower is the one where he fights Macho Man Randy Savage, and there's Steve McQueen's son is in it, Chad.
Yeah,
McQueen.
Chad McQueen. Yeah. You're thinking of Rage.
Yeah, Rage is the better
That's the
one.
one.
was
That's
like-
where like
yeah.
it's
That's
like,
what they
oh,
do.
we should have built this control panel out of gasoline, or this car,
Yeah.
or this house.
Yeah, where they do like the Matrix
The highway.
reloaded highway chase,
Yeah.
but for real. And like Daniel, was they crash two buses and like
Yeah,
everything just
oh, man.
explodes.
And that's one
It's
where
like
you're watching, you're like, is this action scene still going? Like,
Yeah, it
do they
is. It goes on forever.
It's like tax-related reasons. Like, we got to blow up these cars, or else we're gonna have to pay the taxes on them.
It's like this highway is made of gasoline.
Okay, so that little mini recommendation for Rage.
But
Okay,
let's get into Super
Fights.
Fights, which I always call Super Fighters as well, because the theme song goes Super
Super
Fighters.
Fighters. And get used to that theme song because they
Dun,
play it
dun,
on.
Dun, 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 dun.
So yeah, right off the bat, the titles are amazing. It's like
I mean,
they're all
it's like,
swooshing.
can we get a CG title? But let's spend as little money as possible.
It was 95.
Yeah, it's like it's just that fucking title comes together, it's exploding.
But a
it's just
little
like,
explosion. It doesn't explode the titles either. It's an element in the
It's just
background, like,
it's like one of those action effects CDs
yeah,
that you used to
exactly.
get.
But in 1995, it cost us $500,000.
Yeah.
So yeah, we open up in like one of the Super Fights match, and what is Super Fights? It's kind of like a mix of MMA
and wrestling.
and wrestling. I guess.
because
which is
it
what
kind
I
of-
would want to watch. I mean, I think we've talked about this before. I'm not a big fan of MMA. I find it very
No.
dull.
I also am not a big fan of wrestling.
I
I
love
just
wrestling,
never
but don't
watched
watch
it.
it.
So
I would probably watch Super Fights.
I watch Super Fights. Supposedly AEW is good these days. That's what everybody's telling me. It's like a new wrestling federation that's trying to like destroy WWE or overtake it. So
yeah, but like this is like it's almost like supposing that it's real, like because they're like really beating each other up, but the guys are clearly doing wrestling moves.
yeah, this is a classic thing where like once our hero gets into the ring, like they fight for real. Like the matches aren't decided.
Yeah, but then of course you did find out later that the matches are rigged, or are they? So it's just
he's hitting him with a chair outside of the ring.
This is the first time we see our the protagonist, Jack, I think his name is.
Cody.
Jack Cody in the audience.
He loves it. Like, he's like, yeah!
He just like stuffed his face in a bag of cocaine because he's just like hooting and hollering and fist pumping and yeah.
Like he's in a crowd of people and you can see him because he's the one gesticulating the most when he's doing this kind of
he's
stuff.
crazy. He's insane.
Yeah, and then he gets involved in the fight, which audience members are definitely not allowed to do.
Well, his favorite fighter, Budokai, comes out. He's like this Japanese fighter, and
that guy's awesome.
One of the heels grabs a chair and he's gonna like smack him in the head without him noticing, and then our hero Jack notices and kicks the chair out of the guy's hand.
But like behind like a sheet, so nobody could see.
Yeah,
we
and then
could
Budokai's
see.
like, "Thanks, kid," and then whatever.
But also, it is before that his like little childhood memory of him.
That's afterwards.
That's
when
after.
He's
okay,
imagining,
sorry.
Yeah, his favorite wrestler.
Yeah, his favorite wrestler, Rocco. So he keeps
Favorite
flashing back in the movie,
and it's just like a kid and a big muscular man, and the muscular man is so funny because he obviously he's like, "Thank you, child."
Dude, it's the background. They're in front of like a billowing. It's like a sheet.
Yeah, it's like flowing silk in the background.
Yeah. No, because before that we see our hero training in the giant warehouse that he has, and he's set up.
Okay,
for
this
all
is
his
insane.
fighting.
This is him at work, and somehow I don't know what he does. Like he works at the post office. Or
He
he's
works
a
at
plumber.
the box factory, clearly.
Yeah, somewhere. They say at some point it's like a storage warehouse or something.
Yeah, he's wearing like a kind of like plumber-looking shirt or something, but he set up like a training facility in this storage area, which is insane. And I think he's hooting and hollering in this scene as well.
Yeah.
And you get to see everything that he can do. He does like a bunch of high kicks, just like moving forward while kicking.
He's amazing.
And
I
he
have to
like
say.
pulls a rope.
He's got
and
pulleys and levers.
like
Dummies come at him.
come flying like from every which direction, which like you can practically see the person from offset like pushing it at him.
It's Sam Raimi. He's just throwing stuff.
And
at
then his
him.
boss comes in. He's like, "What are you doing? Get back to work."
Yeah, and he's like on the floor surrounded by boxes everywhere. He's making a big mess.
You're making a mess in this box factory.
He sits at his desk and he's got like all like martial arts movie posters around him, like Rapid Fire with Brandon Lee and everything like that.
Of course.
And that's when he has that Rocco. No, Rapid Fire's good.
Rapid Fire's amazing.
Yeah. April, did you go gross? That movie's fun.
No, I don't know. I don't know what I said. I think what I was saying is like
I went
that
into
just,
a haze. I was like, oh no.
I think what I was saying
Brandon
is just
Lee.
like that's a trope that's in these movies that the young guy has like actual like movie posters.
You should only have like
around.
No Retreat, No Surrender, Blood Moon. He's like,
definitely
I
No
love these
Retreat, No
movies.
Surrender. So yeah, we talked about the flashback. He has like a
Yeah.
picture of this guy.
Rocco.
He's watching. He's like
Hey,
training
buddy.
to like videos. I think of Rocco doing these like
okay.
martial arts moves, and he's kind of like mimicking him. But and we get the flashback. So as a kid, he has this dorky kid haircut. It's like this big.
It's
bowl
the Mo
cut.
haircut. Every kid in the 90s had it.
What was it called?
It's the
Mo.
Mo. It's a bowl cut.
The bull
It's
head.
true, yeah. And then
Give me the Mo.
Rocco gives him this necklace. It's like a kind of hand.
Apparently, it's like a religious symbol.
Okay.
Where
It's just
are this children's parents? Like, why is he alone
know.
with this muscle man?
in front of like flowing silk.
And he like picks him up, and he's like, "Yeah."
And then they both go, "Yeah."
It's really bad. It's like public access television bad.
And then he goes home and he talks to his mother, who's like, "I don't like these super fights." It's a real scene out of Boogie Nights. Like Mark
Yeah.
Wahlberg talking to his mom. She's like,
He's like, "Shut up, Mom."
Sure.
Gets in his Jeep, which is like really run down.
so this Jeep, this was really big in the 90s, wasn't it? Like the open Jeep. Like my dad had one.
Really?
I
Yeah.
knew people like family friends who had that Jeep. Yeah.
But you don't really see it anymore. Like it's not something you
no.
see on the streets very often.
You know what? My friend actually bought an old 1950s Jeep. It's like an old army Jeep that's open like that.
Yeah. It's like no
And
doors.
He took me for a ride in it just around the block, and it was the most terrifying
It's
ride.
just the wind is like,
Well, there's that, and it's just got
Well,
the
like,
seat belt. There's
you
no
could fall
shoulder
out.
harness, and everything is just boxy and square and made out of metal. So like the I don't know, the dashboard is just like metal and sharp and everything. So it's like, okay, if he stops suddenly, my face
You'll
is
be
going right
stabbed.
into
Yeah.
this. It was terrifying.
It's a bad time for Jeeps.
Yeah, so I thought his Jeep was camouflage at first, but it's actually it's just covered in like putty and rust paint.
It's just dirt, right?
And we should point out that when he drives his Jeep, he's also hooting and hollering. He's like, put his hand up in the air.
Just like, there goes that fucking cocaine kid.
They should call him Hootie.
Hootie.
Who's always hooting.
He started a band.
Hootie and the Hollers.
No, Pearl Jam. That's who the band started.
Hootie and the Hollers. He sees a
woman being assaulted by a bunch of toughs.
Yeah, and these toughs are really funny.
Yeah.
They look like they're from a high school play, like the way they're acting. They've got like a bandana.
We're gonna take all your money, eh?
And cut ya first, because she's at an ATM.
Yeah,
so
it's like the gangs in New York Ninja.
Yeah,
They're just so comical, you can't take them seriously. Mm-hmm. And he sees it. He stops in front of them. They're like, "Keep going, buddy," and then he drives away. And they're like, "Yeah." And then,
he comes back hooting and hollering.
yeah. And he comes back and he drives his Jeep up onto the sidewalk
and runs them over.
Yeah, he like pins them.
Narrowly
pins
missing
one of them. Like he didn't kill them. I went back and I was like,
I think he almost
just slam him into the.
Yeah, he kind of almost pins a guy against the wall, and then the guy like faints onto the hood of the Jeep, and then he beats them all up really badly, and then saves the girl and drives her back home. And she's like, "Oh, come inside and meet grandfather."
I hope he's not some kind of martial arts master that will challenge me.
It's Paimei from Kill Bill.
Well, I first saw him, I was like, I don't think that's
April
a real
goes, "Do you think that's a wig?"
Do you think that's a wig?
Yeah.
She says.
The more I looked at it, it's the most obvious wig I've ever seen.
The great Hulk Hogan debate of 2022.
It is the fakest looking wig and the fakest looking like beard wig that he's got.
The beard
on.
is bad.
Yeah, that's
too.
real like Halloween store thing. It's like, give me the pie may, please.
And he's just got like like baby powder like in his eyebrows to make them look all gray.
So apparently he's not an old man. He doesn't sound anything like an old man.
No.
He just sounds like a regular.
He's just a Steve Martin.
man.
You know, his hair turned white prematurely.
He's like, "Oh, I'm only 23."
Did they give him like the old like glasses?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But he's like, "Oh, you're a fighter." He's like, "All right, well, let's give you a test." And he puts his hands in flour.
Yeah, and he like challenges him
And he goes,
immediately.
"Okay, touch me." And then they have this big fight.
He's like,
it's
"Whoa,
amazing.
whoa, whoa." He's so good at dodging him, the grandfather. It's really fun.
Yeah, it's really good.
We're like, too much fun. We're only like less than 15 minutes into the movie.
It's crazy. Just his training scene and at his work is like, holy
Training?
shit.
You like training, Colin? Because you're going to get a lot of it, or montages specifically.
Well, there is a lot of martial arts in this movie, which is good because that's what we're here for.
For sure. Yeah. It is nonstop. So this fight scene is really fun. And then he gets home, he drives home, and then it's like all the news reporters are surrounding his house. I guess they saw security footage.
And there's like a news reporter like, "This man, local hero.
Yeah.
Thwarted bad guys at the bank, saving one girl." And
his mom loves it. She's like, "Look at this! Look how amazing this is!" As opposed to being like, "What were you doing?"
I know, like she was mad, like one scene earlier about not being a super fighter.
Yeah, but now he's famous.
So now she's happy about it.
She's addicted to the fame her son has.
But then in the next scene when he is offered to be a super fighter, she hates it. So it's like, what do you want, lady?
Well, okay, but after the scene where he talks to his mom, there's an amazing montage of him walking through the city, and people fucking love him. They love him.
Like they have close-ups of extras like turning like, "Oh, it's him! It's the hero!" The little kid's on the bus.
But it's just like
he like walks up some stairs and does a hilarious jump in the air, and there's a freeze frame of him.
He does.
Yeah!
It's like his Rocky moment where he gets up to the top of the stairs. But he's like, yeah, woo, yeah.
He's just so happy about being a hero.
If the extras are so bad at acting, it's like all they have to do is like swivel their head and go.
And they can't even do it though.
They can't even do that. It's just
Yeah, I felt like I was watching like a Matt Farley movie or something, just with like an average person. Like, hey, can you like turn your head for a second?
You bite your tongue.
Yeah.
But what does happen is, I guess the news gets out, and then it cuts to the owner of Superfights, the big boss. He's watching the local news, and he's like, "We got to sign this kid to Superfights."
Yeah,
and he goes, "Get him a meeting. No agents and no lawyers." So that's right off the bat, this guy's he's bad news.
Yeah, and then he does have a meeting with him, and he's like, "You didn't bring your lawyer?" He's like, "Oh, I didn't know I was supposed to." He's like, "No, that's fine." So it's like he was
he's just
feeding
his ego. But he brings him to the office, and he's like, first of all, this kid is terrible at negotiating. If you're going in for a negotiation, you don't freak out. This kid's like, I've always wanted to be a super fighter.
It's like, don't give them that. Be like, I'm busy, maybe an offer
He's
I
young.
can't
He's
refuse.
naive.
Yeah.
So
he's starstruck by meeting his hero Budokai and Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Because I was like, is he doing like an Eddie Murphy impression
That's just
almost?
how Chuck Jeffries, the actor who's in this movie, he sounds. He's also in Blood Moon. He plays the magic-loving sidekick.
Yeah,
of Gary
I recalled
Daniels.
that. He was the comic relief in Blood Moon.
Yeah, but his delivery in
And
this
he's a good
movie
fighter.
and in Blood Moon, it's like, holy shit, it sounds exactly like Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, I guess
He even
that's
does
just
a
his
little
voice.
laugh as well.
If like Eddie
Yeah.
Murphy could do kung fu, then
Yeah.
Eddie
guy's
Murphy's
it.
like, I can do kung fu.
like shut up, Eddie Murphy.
Haven't you seen Dolomite?
Yeah.
You're telling me to shut up, Colin? Do you know who I am? I'm Eddie Murphy.
So did he meet? Does he meet Angel yet?
Yes, he does in this scene.
Right
Yeah.
when he gets introduced.
Well, he gets
Angel-
very excited when he's talking to the boss, and he does a bunch of kicks. He jumps in the air a little bit, and the boss is like,
No, you got to play it cool. You got to go like, I don't know.
Well, did you see the contract that he hands him? Now, again, this is like a joke, right?
It's
Yeah.
a comedy contract. Yeah, it's
Yes.
gigantic. It's like
It's like
500
7
pages.
inches thick.
It's like 2 dictionaries size, and like on the top it says like contract in like yellow like crayon. Like, that's your marker.
That's how you know it's
like, this
it's
is your
binding.
contract.
I do feel a little bad for Angel because it's like, look how sexy she is, and there's a shot of like looking down her dress, and it's like, I don't think that's doing what you think it does.
Yeah, she's like a bodybuilder.
Yeah, she's
woman.
a bodybuilder.
Hey, she's still hot, but yeah, she is very like sexually objectified in this movie. Even though she is like a strong character, she wants to do the right thing, but she doesn't, and then she kind of does at the end. But
I don't
like,
know. She is like sexually assaulting him later in this movie.
She's sexually forward.
She is like-
he didn't.
she is
he
grabbing
said-
his penis.
He said,
How old
okay,
is he supposed
that's
to
wrong.
be? Because he's having sex with this woman, and he seems like a
Yeah.
child who can't take care of himself.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's true. I mean, they said 20,
He
but
seems like Tom Hanks.
he
in, like,
says
Big.
no, and then she stops. So that's later.
She is constantly trying to have sex with him.
So he signs that Superfights contract, and then he goes to his house, which is so funny because it's meant to be like a mansion, but it's just like, I don't know,
kind of-
a cabin that you got. There's a bunch of
like
stuffed
a-
animal heads.
It's
It's kind of
one
like
big
a
room.
like a weird '80s dumpy townhouse or something.
And he's so excited. He's like,
Yeah.
yeah. There's like
He doesn't
blankets
have to
that look
live with
like
his
you'd
mom.
find on a child's bed.
he drives up
Yeah.
in like a new car or something that he got, I guess, and he parks in the middle of the street at an angle, and then just like leaves it in the middle of the street and walks
Wow,
into his
he's
townhouse.
he's already being a jerk.
Yeah. So and
That
then
was
they go-
just the actor just did that. That wasn't the character.
and then they all the super fighters take him out for dinner. I don't know, at this Italian restaurant, and I could swear that like the guy, the kind of fat bald guy at the end of the table, was King Kong Bundy, the wrestler.
Well, maybe he was. I mean, I don't know wrestlers, but
He has a fight scene later on in the movie. Maybe it wasn't him, but
is he
like,
the guy that goes crazy
Yeah.
later in the ring? That was like scary.
Yeah, but like they're having this fancy dinner in an Italian restaurant, and then Jeffries like pulls out this huge wad of money. He's like, "Oh, let one of the super fighters pay for it."
Yeah. Well, first, like Jack is gonna try and pay for it. First of all, Jack, you just got hired. You already have money to pay for everyone's dinner.
He's
Come
12
on.
years old. He doesn't know what money is yet.
It's probably like over $1,000. But yeah, they get
this swanky Italian restaurant that they're in a basement somewhere, where there's like
Yeah.
purplish, hellish light coming in through the windows.
Yeah, that's what a nice restaurant is in whatever the city this is. I don't even know.
Yeah, back in the 90s though, it's like $30. Like, ooh.
Oh, la di da! I could buy a house or pay for an education.
You could get like a glass of water and a roll in Toronto for that restaurant.
A glass of water and a hard roll.
And a hard roll. That'd be $30, mister.
And then we have Jack Cody go to training, and this is state of the art stuff.
This is crazy. This is like something out
punch
of
through a light to calculate how fast his punches are.
it's like a blast of smoke that's being lit up, and like that can measure like his
Punch
kick and
speed.
punching speed. It's like the gym out of like Rocky 5, when Drago is getting like trained.
Rocky 4.
Oh, Rocky 4. Sorry, yeah.
Also, was it Robot Jocks where there's like a weird like
Yeah, that's Robot Jocks,
jungle
like a
gym
training thing.
Training
yeah.
thing, yeah.
And, like poles like shooting out of the wall.
Yeah.
To test his like reflexes and stuff like that.
It looks really bad.
Angel like full on sexually assaults him here. She grabs his dick.
Not. Okay,
she does. Why are you denying
well,
this?
I guess I forgot. I don't know.
I was telling you this while we were watching.
Well, they don't show it. It's like the camera pans up.
No,
but I didn't quite realize what was happening at first.
She's like, oh, she's
right by him, and their shots is their head. And he's like, oh.
Yeah,
she
but
does something to him.
You see her grab his penis, and then she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm just feeling your pulse. This is the
the pulse scene. Okay,
yeah,
sorry, I forgot."
And then she gives him these vitamins, and she's like, "You got to start taking these. All the super fighters take these vitamins."
Oh no, they're probably super steroids of some kind.
Yeah, it's just a plastic bottle that says Superfights on it. There's no other info.
You can trust the Superfights brand.
Yeah, just taking the vitamins. Now we get one of the many training montages.
And we get the first appearance of Superfighters.
Superfighters.
You're going to be training and doing some stuff, and then you're fighting and dealing some drugs.
Yeah, this song, I think the third time they play it, it actually starts spoiling the plot.
Before it happens.
Before it happens in the movie. You're entering a world of drugs and corruption.
Yeah. It's like, whoa, we are?
Wait, hold on.
Normally that song would just be at the end because it's recounting the plot. Nope, we get it throughout the movie.
When you have a song this good, April.
If you walk into the film and already 2/3 of it have passed, you're happy that a song sums up what's happening.
Exactly.
And what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's a long montage. They're on the beach. They're fighting. The girl that he saved at the ATM, she sees his reflection in a giant pane glass window as he drives by. It's like, why is it so complicated?
And then we get
the classic, glass delivery people you always see in movies.
We're just holding a big
pane of glass. Isn't it the Simpsons joke that's the best one where they're like, whoa, the car comes by and they're like, whoa, that was a close one. Then they throw the glass in the garbage.
In the dumpster, yeah. Yeah, that's probably the best version.
Does that ever happen in real life?
Glass does have to get places.
I understand
that. Yeah, but you
that.
wouldn't carry it, I think, like that, up in the air so it could smash when somebody goes through it.
Or have it in a cardboard box or something.
Usually, I'm sure there would be some sort of protective frame around it so that, two guys aren't just carrying a bare pane of glass across a sidewalk.
Yeah, I mean, I
would love to see that in real life.
That's probably been in movies since the Silent era.
But then you do see it in real life. It's horrifying, just blood everywhere.
Yeah. It's a horrible, horrible tragedy.
Why would you wish this upon us, Colin?
It only happens in the movies.
Yeah.
And then
you definitely don't want to be in one of those open Jeeps if you're driving into a pane of glass.
Oh God, I never want to be in an open
just
Jeep.
Covered in cuts.
It's just let's put all the sharp corners. Make a dashboard out of bent sheet metal with sharp pointy things.
It would be like the end of Squid Game where the glass is shattering.
There's also a scene where our hero sees Angel undressing in the shower, and she looks suggestively over her shoulder. Yeah. And he's like,
okay,
oh.
I guess that's inappropriate too. You're right.
You're standing up for this girl all throughout this
drug
movie.
dealer, April.
I thought we were clear what's happening here.
Yeah, I mean, she's not the worst of all of them as far as the
she doesn't murder
misdeeds.
people.
No, but I mean, she's in on the whole thing.
Yeah. Well,
there's a funny fight scene that they have here where she kicks him so hard in the nuts that he flips forward.
There's so many flips in this movie.
Oh, it's great.
Some wire assisted, some not, I'm sure.
And we get to his first fight, and he's wearing this USA.
USA.
It's first of all, it's ill fitting. It's too big for him, and it's
sorry, this
sparkly.
was fitting for Lauren Avedon, the guy that looks like you.
Yeah, exactly. It's sparkly, a US flaggy.
Yeah, it's great. It's
they really put
satiny.
Pushing him as the all-American boy. Even if his poster has stars and stripes all over it.
Yeah, and I think in the song even it's America. Everyone keeps calling him an American hero.
Yeah, well, I mean it's wrestling, so it's you have the Asian guy, the
the Iron Sheik would be the heel.
I guess
the Hulk Hogan.
The one guy with the bald guy. They're supposed to be
nothing says America
distinct.
like the Hulkster.
Distinct
I shouldn't have eaten all that sushi.
No, he came out to that theme song. Remember, I am a real American.
Was that in Rocky?
No, that was his theme song.
Oh,
the WWF.
I thought you meant when he showed up in Rocky 3.
No,
or was
what was his name? It was really funny. It was
Thunder
Sugar
Lips.
Lips. Thunder Lips.
Thunder Lips.
Yeah, it was Rocky 3.
That's weird.
But yeah, he has this first fight, and it's funny in this movie. The fights in the ring are the least interesting fights.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think that the filmmakers
fine.
realize that.
I
they
think
have
so,
like a
yeah.
lot of different fights as well. And I like it when it's like it's just like some doughy guy that he fights in the ring.
Yeah, it's like, who is that guy? He doesn't seem like one of the super fighters, but I guess he is.
He's what is it called? Like a jobber. Like he just does the job, usually it's not broadcast.
Yeah.
But I have questions. Is Super Fighters like a syndicated show? Like, is it something that they watch on television? They must, right?
I thought it was just a
know.
live event, but yeah, I guess it's a show because he was watching it, right?
I guess. But yeah, it's like mom goes down to the match and stuff like that. There's but Chuck Jeffrey's name is Dark Cloud.
Dark
Yes.
Cloud.
I just looked that up. I'm like, oh my God. So yeah, his first fight, mom is like cheering him on, but then he wins and she kind of storms out pissed off for some reason.
I don't know.
She wanted her son punished for his, wanting to be a super fighter.
Doesn't he also kiss, or Angel probably kisses him, and then his new girlfriend, whose name I can't even remember, she sees
Sally.
Sally. She sees this, and she's kind of like makes a face, but then she still shows up for the subsequent matches and is like,
He and Sally have never
Jake,
met after their
Jake.
first meeting.
they have met, but I guess she was just watching him train.
She was watching him through
Yeah,
pane glass
they've never
windows as we've
spoken
covered.
since he
she's
saved
like
her from the
stalking
robbery.
him at this point.
Yeah, I guess so. And it's kind of like assumed that they're boyfriend and girlfriend. I don't know. It's
Maybe
very
they're
weird.
not yet, but yeah, she's always starting the chant. Was it Jack Colby? Jack Colby. Cody.
Colby, who's that?
Colby.
Yeah, so then
We get a montage of fights.
another
of him just
fighting
defeating
montage.
guys. Yep.
And this is where I wrote the song is giving away the plot, where it's just like,
And
come
he
on.
seems to be signing autographs at town, like the city hall. Like he comes down like the big stairs.
Yeah, it's very
And
strange.
there's a bunch of kids there, and they're like,
guess-
yeah, Jack.
Maybe he got the key to the city or something.
It's like
already.
It's at nighttime though, but it's like he's just done a play or something, and he's coming out to all his fans, like waiting. And the kid, what does the kid say? Like,
He's like, I want to be just like you, or
you-
something like that.
You doing it? Or he's like, I'm trying, kid. Are you a good guy? It's like, I'm trying the best I can. And he like signs the thing. Then they go back to his house, and like Angel again is like taking off her
And
clothes.
she's
trying to
like,
seduce him.
hey, big guy. And then they fight.
Yeah, and then like they have like a sexy fight or something, and he's like, she's like, come on, do me, come on, it'll be like nothing, and he's like,
But
no.
she's like, it doesn't have to mean anything, and he's like, no,
Yeah, it does.
you do mean something to me. You're my trainer and you're my friend.
Yeah.
What a good guy, you guys.
But then he starts training with the other like super fighters. They have this like gym.
Okay, so this gym is scary, and it's meant to be scary. It's just like a shitty room, like an '80s gym with like the machines in there. But
And
the
they're all
guys-
giant muscle man, all roided out.
and like the one guy's muscles were like his legs and the arms, and he's on like the machine where you're just like pressing your arms down, but like they're like,
get off the arm press machine, guy. Get on
Yeah.
something else.
But then they have like women in bikinis walking around
Yeah.
handing out the vitamins to everybody.
which is insane.
so
It's
you kind of
just
know,
silly
you know
detail.
something's up with those vitamins.
But they're like getting angry, and so yeah, vitamin.
I love our hero. He looks like a toothpick walking around.
He
with all
does.
these muscle guys.
He's so tiny. He's such a
Yeah.
dweeb in this movie. But yeah, he and like Budokai is like, here, hold my pad while I kick you. And then he like kicks him across the room.
And in this scene, like Angel's like grabbing his butt.
Yeah,
like,
see? She's
Oh
like,
my god, the
She's-
harassment.
She's all over them. There's like one later scene where
Angel, more like devil.
Yeah.
she's a fallen angel.
Mm-hmm.
So our hero goes for a jog, and
then he
happens
gets
to me
attacked by ninjas.
happens
as
to
you
me
do.
all the time. He gets attacked by a ninja.
Just one ninja.
Just one ninja who's
Very Budokai-ish, if I
Yeah.
may
Yeah,
say so
and he
myself.
talks to him too. So
He's gigantic
And he sounds
and-
exactly like Budokai. But who knows?
who knows? Maybe it's not.
He says like something like, you're never gonna beat blah blah blah. You're terrible, and he's like, no, I'm not. I'm a great fighter.
Yeah, he's like they're all throwing their fights to make it look like you're actually
Yeah.
winning, but you're not.
The exact line, April, is, bullshit, I'm a great fighter.
Yeah.
I remember it because it's in the trailer.
Yeah, I remember it from the trailer as well. And then he's like, don't take the vitamins, and he runs away.
he runs away into like the smoke, the smoky
it's the
like
early
fog rays.
morning mist that you get.
Yeah, and kind of like
Oh shit, the whole path is on fire. I gotta get out of here.
Are you
Yeah,
sure
he-
dark smoke isn't around?
he kind of fades away into the smoke too. It's really funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, it might not be Budokai. There are plenty of 6'5" muscly Japanese ninjas around.
Yeah, it could be
Why would
anyone.
Budokai just be like, "Hey man, don't take the drugs. It's bad." Like,
Yeah, well,
I'm coming clean.
Well, later he says like, I was still taking them, so I was still doing these bad things, and then you do see him do bad things later. So I guess he didn't want.
yeah,
him to
you see
know.
him. Not the next scene, because there's a scene where he meets the old master that he fought in the house. They trade words.
Yeah, Paimei, he's doing Tai Chi in the park, and he says, why don't you
Yes.
show up to my granddaughter's training tomorrow morning? And he's like, okay. And then we get a scene where Budokai and Chuck Jeffries attack this cartoonish gang underneath
Drug dealers. Yeah.
underneath the highway.
an overpass.
It could be the gardener for all we know.
It did look like the guy. Hey, was this shot in Toronto? No,
don't think
definitely
so, no.
wasn't. It was like DC or something.
Yeah,
Or
so
San Francisco.
they beat up this gang. The gang is wearing like the fakest wigs. Even the women who are cheering them on at the sidelines.
They're kind of cheering, but also like then they start getting in on the fighting, and they're like getting beat up by our super fighters.
thrown through glass.
well,
like-
it's probably because it's the same stuntmen over and over.
I think
again.
so, yeah.
that's
Much like that New York Ninja situation.
That's the thing where like nobody says anything, but they're getting their faces thrown through like the windows, the car windows. So that these are like stunt women, and everybody knows their thing. Really good fight. So Budokai says to the gang like, we want a percentage of your action or something like that. So then Superfight, something's going on, man.
Yeah, they're not only wrestlers, they're also drug dealers.
Which is like, what? Okay.
It seems like a very complicated scheme to have going on, but all right.
Yeah, it's like, it would be like, what's his name, who owns WWE, like also getting
Doing
in.
drugs on the side.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Superfights does seem like a much smaller
operation than the
WWE.
WWE. This is true. Paimei and his granddaughter show up to training the next morning. They're like, oh, that guy's late. And then for some reason,
man.
he's hiding or sleeping under a pile of cardboard boxes.
He's like, I'm right here.
I'm right here.
Where were
What
you
took
guys?
you guys so long?
That's the long con that he pulled off right there. On the street, it should be pointed out, too. Like, not in anything.
It's on the sidewalk, but it's like the cardboard boxes are on top of him for some reason.
Who put those cardboard boxes on him?
He did it himself because he's skilled.
They're so
with
well
boxes.
placed. Oh, okay. Yeah, he's a box man. That's
I
right.
guess so. Oh yeah, that's
I'm
true.
a box man. Doot, doot.
But it's like has he been lying there for like 12 hours, like waiting for them?
Yes.
And he's like, oh, this is going to be the best
So
game.
funny. Can you imagine their faces when I pop out?
Yeah,
They're just like, why did you do that?
he just wanted to
that's
prove himself, I
confusing.
guess.
So now we get one of many, many, many Paimei training sequences where he's teaching him Tai Chi. Other ways.
It's not about force. It's about, I guess, the distribution of force.
Using your opponent's force against them.
Yeah, you got to flow like water. But at one
Yeah.
point, he actually does teach him to use the force. Because
Yes,
his
which
chi-
I did not remember, and I was like, okay, now there's magic powers in this.
You
Paimei's
gotta,
like-
you gotta have that build up. It's got to go somewhere.
He's firing like soda cans across the room with like his chi or
but
something
like
that.
they didn't need to have that. He teaches him to dodge his opponent's moves, and you see him incorporate that later in the ring. So we
Yeah.
didn't need this, but I mean, it does come into play later.
Well,
I
there is
guess,
one
but-
point where they put gigantic sunglasses on him, and then they turn off or they blind him or something with the sunglasses.
Those are like sunglasses that shoot flashing lights into his eyes.
Oh yeah,
I don't
okay.
know why. So why didn't he? Why?
It's foreshadowing.
It
April.
is, but like So then he can dodge Paimei's moves without seeing them. He senses them. Pretty cool.
So now we get another scene where the super fighters go to harass drug dealers, but this time the boss comes along, and I guess this is like a crime boss that he's like I don't know, got a beef with or something like that.
Well, is this the guy that they steal his cocaine from the limo, but then they
Yes.
find out it wasn't cocaine. I guess he had a decoy in
like
there.
baby
It's like he
powder.
knew they were coming or something. And so then they show him like
Oh,
doing
the
cocaine
boss
with
seems
his
the best
with his
because they
girls.
take a guy and they put his head in a fan and blood
See-
splatters everywhere.
This is a normal ceiling fan. Like I've got a similar one in my bedroom.
If you lifted your head up, you'd probably be like, "Ow!" I don't think it would.
it would stop.
It looks like they put a melon on a dummy and just the top part flew off.
His head explodes and it's like all this blood over the wall. It's like this thing would just bonk on your head and stop. Like the motor would not be.
Well, they brought in the Beast or whatever that guy's name is.
Oh yeah,
what's
they
his
have
name?
this-
It's like something like Beast or
Yeah, the guy that
Bear.
kind of looks like Rocco, but I'm sure it's
well,
unrelated. It doesn't have
he
anything-
crashes through the door.
Yeah,
like
Yes.
He looks like the wrestler Hillbilly Jim from the WWF way back when.
boy, you
He's
know
got-
a lot of wrestlers.
I was big into WWF in the day,
Cool.
way back when. During the
I'm a real American.
the golden years of Hulk Hogan, King Kong Bundy, Special Delivery Jones,
Ultimate Warrior.
Quite
Jimmy
a
the
name,
S-
Special
Jimmy-
Delivery Jones.
Jimmy Superfly Snuka. Oh man,
Yeah, definitely know all
those
those
were the
names.
days. So then we get this like workout. And this is where like, okay, the drugs are having a bad effect.
Yeah, they're giving him the drugs, but he's not taking them. He's just pretending to take them.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
all the other guys that are working out in the gym are like,
Yeah, it's even scarier than the previous scene.
this is what I imagine going to the gym is like all the
I mean,
time.
April goes to the gym
It's
quite
not.
often. Are you like, ooh, ooh? As women in
Sometimes,
bikinis hand you pills.
but no, I mean, yeah, you do sometimes see guys that are like, ugh, and then they like drop their weights and it makes a big
Clang.
sound. Yeah, that does happen.
I
But
know.
then these guys are like,
Guilty as charged.
these guys look like they're about to like attack you.
They look
'cause,
like they're
you know,
about to explode and like
Yeah.
blood is going to spray out of their
yeah,
eyeballs or
it's
something.
freaky.
But
And then
up to-
Angel is like, "Oh, you're not improving, Jack. You should
gotta
be
take more pills.
You should be 30% bigger than you are now." And he's just like,
Well, up to this point, okay, the boss, the owner of Superfights, is kind of like this businessman. He's wearing a suit. He's giving me a very Treat Williams vibe for some
Yes,
reason.
definitely.
Like Treat Williams in The Phantom.
A shorter Treat William.
And then I guess in retaliation, this gang attacks him at his office. And oh, surprise, he's like an amazing fighter and he kills them all. But then he's got his like little secret weapon. He's got these gold rings that he wears. And then he kind of
so
turns them
cool.
around and they have
You
spikes.
skip something important, though, which is real life wrestler Rob Van Dam being beat up in the ring by the big bald guy.
"Oh, so that's who Rob Van Dam was."
Yeah, he's like famous for doing splits and like really acrobatic stuff.
Oh, okay. So
we thought he was a
fights-
different character. There's a character named Mercenary and then a character named
Enforcer.
So I think it was Enforcer that was in the ring.
There's this guy that's always in the background and he just looks like a normal dude.
He's always hanging out with Dark Smoke.
Dark Cloud.
Dark Cloud.
Get it right.
So that is the guy who we were talking about, who is not Mr. Van Dam, who is also not related to Jean-Claude Van Damme.
No, he just took that name in the ring because it was fun.
Okay.
And he's a big Van Dam fan.
But yeah, that scene
Yeah,
where
King Kong Bundy goes crazy.
Yeah, he just
Yeah.
goes so crazy to the point that Angel has to trank him.
Yeah,
with a
trank
gun.
But there's like they have a scientist in a lab coat run out with a trank gun. And I
like
keep
it's honestly kind of scary.
yeah, it's like and all the super fighters are like grabbing
Are
him
you
like
frightened sometimes, April, that you go to the gym and like a King Kong Bundy guy's gonna go crazy?
The way that he just like keeps going for this guy, it's not like he's like fighting everyone else. He's like, this is my opponent and I must destroy him.
I keep thinking of the
He's
guy
scary.
the guy from like Jurassic Park, like shoot her.
Yeah. And they
I thought
finally
you were
take
talking
him
about
down.
Newman. I like Newman's like, oh!
They finally take him down.
Yeah, so then they bring the kid along on one of their, I don't know, they rough people
Drug
up.
dealing, yeah.
Drug
yeah.
At the Chinese
So
restaurant.
they go to a Chinese restaurant and like demand like payments or whatever because they tell the kid like, oh, this guy's part of the Chinese mafia, and then they have this big fight at the Chinese restaurant.
and then two
all
chefs
the
come
waiters
out.
are
All the
in on
waiters
it.
have, like, cleavers.
Yeah, no chefs.
Classic
yeah,
chopper fight scene.
so racist. And then they
Well, that's what they're called. They call them choppers. The like machetes that in triad movies they always carry around.
oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I just thought they
You
were like
wrap them in newspaper so people can't see what it is, and then you pull it out.
Oh. I feel like they had a
more
lot
you
of them
know.
in Big Trouble in Little China in like that alleyway fight. So then they beat up, and then they force the restaurant guy to pay, and then Jack is like, "Hey, I thought you guys told me this they were part of the mafia," and he's like, "Yeah, well, whatever, kid."
Is that what they told
Just
him?
do what you want us. Just do what we tell you to do.
Yeah, but then
And then we get a
Budokai-
scene where I was gonna say Rocco escapes.
Yes, in the parking
Hillbilly
garage.
Hillbilly Jim.
Yeah. Oh no, it's Rocco, and he has like a shock collar on, and they shoot him with trank guns.
Yeah, so it's like they say that the pills are mind control, but they also just have him on it with a shock collar on it, so it's not mind control.
Well, it's the classic muscle building mind control pills that you can find over the counter in any local pharmacy.
They're called steroids.
Yeah, well, he gives the pills to his Pai Mei guy, and he's like, I took them to the pharmacy. They're steroids and something I don't know.
Yeah,
they might be mind control pills.
What is the big boss's end game? Like, is it just to make amazing fighters?
Amazing group of muscle? What is the goal of anyone that wants power, Colin?
But I think
he's taking out all the local gangs because he wants to be top dog.
So he's gonna. It has like Superfights almost seems like a distraction, so he can like build his sort of drug crime empire.
Yeah. He's using the super fighters to do that.
Right.
Our hero Cody goes home, is attacked by the ninja, who reveals himself to be Budokai. And my favorite part of the scene is that there's a framed photo of him as a child being held up on Rocco's shoulder.
Yeah, I knew there was a photo.
Yeah.
And it's just from that scene earlier.
Yeah, and Budokai admits, he's like, Hillbilly Jim is actually Rocco. He was the first one that the boss tried these drugs out on. So he's gone all like kind of feral, and his mind has turned to mush.
He's like a beast.
So yeah, and then in the next scene we get the big death match.
Well, I have to pick a favorite thing. We're getting near the end of the movie, so I'll pick it here, which is that our hero Cody is going through all of his memories of the kid being like, "Are you one of the good guys?"
Yeah, that's right.
And then he's in the shower, and my favorite thing is him going, "Ah!"
Yeah.
And he like holds his arms out.
Yeah.
Who has not done that when they're in the shower?
That was pretty funny. He's having an emotional moment of thinking about things in the shower, and then he just lets it all out.
Yeah, I do that from time to time.
Out, he's like, ooh.
I do it from time to time. April, you're always like knocking on the door, like, "You
What's
okay?
going
Are you
on?
okay? Are you having one of those
You all right?
flashbacks of kids asking you if you're good or not?
Like, yeah, like another flashback, huh? Yeah.
So is this when Budokai kind of switches and he gets in a fight and he gets really hurt, right?
Yeah, this
Yes.
is the death match, so I think the boss is kind of onto Budokai and knows
It's
that
the
he's
classic death match. There's a giant pendulum with barbed wire wrapped around it.
This is at a new location.
Yeah.
It's a night fight.
It's like the
Super Fighters.
It's like the
After
Kumite
Dark.
in Bloodsport. It's like an underground fighting ring,
This
fight to the death.
If this movie had Bolo Young in it, it'd be perfect.
Oh yeah, he could be a super fighter. I don't think he's big enough though, like height wise.
Kidding me?
How dare you?
He's like
Colin?
5'2" though. All these guys are like
No,
6'5".
Jack Cody is pretty short.
Yeah, he's a dweeb.
Yeah.
But yeah,
he
it's
could
like
have been in it.
it's like a punching bag wrapped in like barbed wire for some reason, and then there's like people operating it too, right? Isn't it like dark smoke like operating it?
It's like that was your friend, bro. But he's taking the Kool-Aid.
And Rocco goes crazy. He like bursts out of the cave.
He starts attacking like everybody.
And the only thing that calms him down is Cody gives him the little pendant, and he's like, "Remember me, a child you gave this pendant?"
And
And he's like,
yeah.
And then he gets electrocuted and dies.
Maybe.
and then they save Budokai. He's been beaten badly, but they take him back to Pai Mei's place, and there's like a shot of it's like Pai Mei and Cody kind of putting their healing hands on Budokai.
Okay, so since when did
Cody
they have?
puts his hand on Budokai's dick, doesn't he? Like the
Yeah,
way-
it's like floating up. Okay, but since when did they have healing powers?
I do not
They
know.
can-
Gee, April, haven't you been paying attention?
They can move cans,
Yeah.
but they also have healing power. I mean, this is like taken like right from Avatar: The Last Airbender because like the
I think Avatar took this from Superfights.
yeah, because the waterbenders use Tai Chi and they also have healing powers. So it's like the same thing.
But literally, Cody has his hand on his dick, like you said, Justin. It's very strange.
Yeah,
Like,
is that your favorite
what
part?
are- what is
his
happening
chest.
here?
Is that Colin's favorite part?
No.
His hand on the dick. Guys, you have one scene left. You got to pick
I know.
something.
Actually, I think I'm gonna go back and say. I mean, I obviously love this whole movie. I think my favorite part might have been that freeze frame at the beginning when he jumps up in
Where
the
he goes,
air.
Yeah,
The
that's a
angle
good
is
scene.
really funny, and he's like, he's getting so much air.
Yeah.
Like it was. I think that much.
Well, I mean, my favorite part. Okay, I mean, the fight scenes in this movie are fantastic. My favorite is the end fight scene with him and the bad guy.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
bad
so
guy.
he shows up in the underground lair.
Yeah, he
and-
kidnaps Cody's mother and girlfriend.
and they're like behind a very tiny glass wall.
Yeah, it looks
Like-
terrible. It looks like a piece of plywood with
people are holding. Yeah, you can't. There's no wide shot of it, so it's like this really badly made window that they're looking out of. It's supposed to be
awesome. Is this underground lair where there's like different colors in every corner? Like one corner is purple, one corner is green.
Oh, it's amazing. And there's
boxes,
pallets of wood, like barrels, lots of things. Reminds me of the end fight scene in Drunken Master 2.
Well, really? I mean, Keith Vitale is a famous real martial artist and a super kicker who fought Jackie Chan in Wheels on Meals.
That's right.
Nice.
And he does the Ken Lo villain thing from Drunken Master 2 where he moves his feet.
He did it like twice in a row.
Yeah, but there are so many moments in this that are like, okay, that is right out of Drunken Master 2. Yep. Not that I have a problem with it.
I believe, Tony Leung Si-hung did work on Drunken Master 2 as one of the stunt car artists.
He did, yeah. He was like additional crew on it. So Drunken Master 2, oh my God, fantastic fight scene at the end. This fight scene is fantastic. There's two.
It's good.
He defeats the boss at first, and then he gets in a fight with Enforcer. It's like a pole fight or something.
Yeah, that's the guy that we were saying earlier that looks like less muscly than everyone else, but
skulking around in the background.
Good fighter.
Great fight scene with him, and then the boss comes back to life and kicks both his mother and his girlfriend unconscious.
Oh, and he's got those ring things out.
Yeah, it's so good.
Which, by the way, they're kind of like brass knuckles, where it's not like the little pointy things are sharp. They're almost like rounded. Yeah, which would be probably worse because that would probably do more damage if it went in you. You know what I mean? Because it's creating a bigger
They're kind of blunt and
man. Yeah, imagine that would fucking hurt.
This fight scene is fantastic.
I watch a fight scene like this and I really wonder the cast and crew, no one's gonna appreciate this, all the hard work and broken bones that they're putting into this, other than some nerds doing a podcast.
We're appreciating
25 years later.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah,
it's so sad.
Put so much work into it, and not enough people saw it or need to see it now.
It's better than any fight scene you've ever seen in a Marvel movie or anything.
And Vitale does the shuffle here too, where he jumps up on some board and he's like, and he shakes around a little bit.
Yeah, and he does little swishy foot. And then so many Hong Kong spins where
is that what that is called?
Yeah, it's called the Hong Kong spin when you do
where they spin vertically.
Yeah, you get
HK spin.
Sorry, horizontally.
You get kicked and then your body goes horizontal in the air while spinning around its
and then
axis,
you fall.
and then you land on the ground.
That's so cool.
I don't know how you do that without being horribly maimed, but
I'm sure there's a way.
Well, according to the stuntman, you do get horribly maimed when you do it.
Yeah, but they get a $20 really bonus, so it's okay.
Yeah, bonus.
So then the girlfriend starts flashing the lights, and she's like, remember your training. So it's whatever.
She's like, Jack, concentrate. By the way, she's the worst actor in this whole movie. And I was like, okay, she must be a martial artist or something.
She doesn't get to do any martial arts.
Yeah. She does training a little bit, but yeah. So I was like, why not hire better actors? I don't know.
I feel like there was a scene cut out because at one point after Budokai is back getting his balls felt by Cody, she goes, I'm going to get your mother. To rescue her, and then it just cuts to the bad guy
them being captured.
I've got your mother and girlfriend.
Yeah, so maybe there was a scene where she fought some guys off, but then they captured her.
Otherwise, I have no idea why she's in this movie. Maybe she's a producer's daughter or something.
Could be.
Who knows? Anyway, so he defeats the boss, and Budokai walks in. Budokai is still alive, although he's
fine.
He's wrapped in bandages, bloody bandages. It's very funny.
Budokai's alive! Someone yells off screen.
Yeah. Then we get the end credits to Superfights.
Yeah, but okay, the end freeze frame is very poorly chosen. It's them turning around. They're walking away.
They look at each other.
Yeah, and their heads
smile.
are at a weird angle, and you mostly just see the Paime's back, basically.
Yeah, Paime's in between the two of them, and they're kind of bending backwards to look around his back at each other.
Super awkward.
It's very strange.
Also, I think Angel died.
There's no goofs in the movie either. Yeah, she gets killed by Keith Vitale, kicks her in the neck, and she dies.
Does the right thing at the end. She defies him, but so
Keith Vitale kicks her, and then the way the shot is framed, Jack Cody comes into frame, but you hear Keith Vitale say, "Die, you bitch!" And then April's like, wait, did Jack Cody just say that?
It sounded like he said it. Yeah, I was confused.
It's very weird.
Yeah, so then we get the song, but no credit at the end that said who did the song from what I saw.
I hope it's Angel and Jack Cody singing
Yeah, they cut the track themselves on their own free time.
They need them.
That's part of their montage.
The official music video is just them in the recording studio wearing the headphones, singing Don't go breaking my heart.
You gotta fight all
Well,
the
supposedly
people.
seasonal films does exist somewhere, because when we played Blood Brothers, like 3 months after we emailed a bunch of people, someone emailed back being like, "Yeah, we'll take your money. Thanks for playing the movie."
Wait, after you had played the movie?
After we played the movie.
Yeah, but
yes.
didn't you have like a film print?
Yeah, we did, but it wasn't theirs. It was just like in an archive somewhere.
So
Wow.
where did you? So good film prints of these movies do exist.
Yeah, but they don't keep track of them because the companies don't really care because there's not really money to be made of it.
Right.
So
I believe that film print may have been destroyed too, because
man.
the place where it was, they liquidated their stuff. The guy who was in charge of it was like, "Yeah, they got rid of it." And I was like, "Oh my god!"
man, we could have
No
bought
Country
it.
for Under 3, Abraxas.
Put it in the
film prints
dumpster
are
and then just turn slightly away.
That could have been
That's
like
literally what they
restoration.
do, because that's how Thrilling Bloody Sword was found. It was picked out of the dumpster.
God damn it.
Decades
my
ago.
I just want to like back a like loading truck up. Like
Yeah, or just tell someone. I think that technically no one should own film prints. It's actually illegal because they all belong to the studio.
Right.
So maybe that's why they're like, just get rid of
They have
this.
to destroy
So
them.
there might not even exist a better copy of this movie out there.
There's got to be one somewhere.
I hope so.
In
but
some
like,
salt
how
mine.
do you find that? You know,
the
Some
negative.
salt mine
that's your
somewhere.
job, Justin. That's one of your that's your business.
Yeah,
now.
I'm like, do you have a film print? They're like, no. Oh, well, I tried.
So you saying some rando just emailed you like after the thing, like, oh,
Yes, because we had reached out
give
to
me money.
all the seasonal films, contacts that we had.
right.
Because that was the deal with the archive, is that like reach as many people as you can, because a lot of these companies don't exist anymore.
Right.
So if no one gets back to you, then you can do it.
Oh, okay. So it's just like
you're
you have
allowed
make it-
to. You're allowed to just.
You have to at least
play it.
try to.
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
contact
you have to
them.
try.
It could have been just like the cleaning guy, like cleaning a keyboard.
Yeah,
like,
we don't know. It could be like,
Hey, so-
I'm seasonal films. Give me the money.
Here's my PayPal. So yeah, this movie is fantastic. You should hunt it down.
It's on YouTube.
Don't pay.
In fact, someone better rip it off YouTube before it gets removed. Although I don't think anyone
Oh,
cares.
it's been there forever.
I don't think
No one
anyone
cares.
cares.
and
it's
there's
on
multiple
YouTube.
copies. There's like 3
Yeah.
copies at least that we saw. On
The
YouTube.
one that said DVD rip is probably the best one.
Yeah, that's the one that we watched.
I mean, it's got to be on Tubi, right? Like,
No,
I don't know. I
it's
don't
not.
think so.
It's not anywhere.
Yeah, don't pay the $241 on Amazon for a bad DVD.
Somebody make a deal with seasonal films. Get these movies out there. We want Blood Moon. We want No Retreat, No Surrender 3.
Yeah.
We want
like,
King of the Kickboxers.
how can we make this happen?
Well, I mean, we can't. Like,
Well, you have a DVD label, Justin. Come on.
Yeah.
yeah, I do not have the money to
You're a Blu-ray
license
label.
these films.
As soon as you start a DVD label, you automatically
yeah,
get
you
access to all
instantly
these
are
movies.
able to access all these movies.
I
Yeah, you
wonder
just
though,
have to
like if we
ask.
could like buy the rights.
The rights?
to.
I feel
to
like if a
release
company
it.
of Vinegar Syndrome, if they could, they would have done it already. Like these
Yeah.
are the go-to ones when it comes to English language martial arts films.
Yeah, I
so.
wonder.
Well, I'm gonna look into it.
There must be a reason. Tweet at Brad Henderson from Vinegar Syndrome. Get him on the case.
Yeah.
Where are the seasonal films? No, please don't tweet at him. They'll be like, why do people keep tweeting
probably
at
gets
me?
that stuff
No
all the
such thing as a
time.
bad movie.
Super fights.
Yeah. So anyway, obviously, watch this movie.
Yeah, this
it's
is amazing.
fantastic. If you like martial arts at all, martial arts and cheesy movies. It's like the perfect mix.
Yeah, it's great. Fantastic movie.
It's very good. So if you want to email the podcast, we're at no such thing as a bad movie at gmail.com, and we're on Twitter at no such thing pod, and consider supporting us on patreon.com/no such thing as a bad movie. If you're at the $5 level, you get a little bonus episode every 2 weeks. And next week, you will get an episode. We actually talked about a good movie this week. We got to talk about 2 good movies today. That was nice. We talk about the Daniels' new film, Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is definitely worth your attention. If you want to find me, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at April Admansky.
You can find me on Twitter, DeClux, DECLOUX, the letter J, or on Letterboxd at Justin DeClux.
I'm on Twitter at Sergeant Zima, SGTZIMA.
And that's it for this week. Stay super, you guys.
Super Fighters.
Super fighters. I am April Admansky.
I'm Justin DeClux.
Oh, I'm Colin Cunningham.
And remember, there's no such thing as a bad movie.